when we input the data into our program, what they'll do is, what the program will do is it will take the data and say, okay, I've got 2 brothers from this daddy, and I've got 2 brothers from this daddy. And the computer will look at how they grew, what they came off test at, and they'll take that information and then spread it out amongst their brothers and sisters at the other farms. It's not the exact same data, but it's very, very close. So that's how we're able just to take the boards here. We can use the data to spread it out to all of their brothers and sisters at all the farms.
All right, so we are super excited to hear from you guys. Does anyone have any questions for the farmers?
Can you guys hear us?
Depending on how close you stand to the computer, yes. I can barely hear you. I'm half deaf anyway, so you know.
I'm not sure if the microphone makes any difference or not.
Yeah, that didn't come through hardly at all.
Okay. So I just have a question, like, where are you from in Alabama? Because I'm from Alabama also.
I live right north of Montgomery,
Okay.
and we come to Elmore County is where I'm from.
All right. I'm from Auburn, so.
Okay. Yeah, my parents graduated from there, so I know right where that is.
So did my dad. Cool. Right. Well, I'll bring my computer around. Anyone have a question?
I wanted to
Hi.
ask, hi, how many pigs do you have at the farm?
About how many pigs can do what at the farm?
Are at the farm.
Are at the farm. Okay. Sorry, like I told you, I'm half deaf. You work around screaming hogs for a long time, you get half deaf. Right now, at any given point in the year, we have 4,500 to 5,000 animals.
Oh,
We have about 1,600 babies that are in our nursery, and the finisher will have, let's see, we've got 6 rooms, 400, it's 2,400 plus the holding barn.
3,000?
Yeah, pretty close to 3,000. So there's about 4,000 to 4,500 on the farm at any given time.
oh wow, that's awesome.
Right. Yeah, that's just this. We've got, let me think, 1, 2, 5 or 6 other farms that handle the rest of the boars and the gilts, and they probably are just as big, if not a little bigger.
Thank you guys for that question. We're going to kind of I have some more questions for the farmers to answer. We kind of take a lot of different steps to ensure that their pigs are taken care of at every stage of life. And so at this stage of life, what is your favorite part about caring for the pigs?
I'll let you go with that one.
My favorite part when caring for the animals, for these pigs, especially at this age, these guys right now are, oh, let me think here, they are about 14 weeks of age. Yeah, so these guys are about 3.5 months old. These guys are about, in terms of human age, would be about your age. They're just getting into junior high, starting to look towards high school. This particular group, at this age, they are a lot of fun. Like to run around. There are a lot of, that's what I love doing about this job, is taking care of these guys. They act a lot like big Labradors. They run around. If something in the barn will spook them, they will literally bark. It is hilarious. They'll get up and bark and they'll run, and then everybody will stand around and look to see what's going on. It's great. They have such a personality. A lot of people don't know that, but pigs have such a great personality. I mean, you can watch these guys. We threw some feed on the floor so you can kind of watch and see what they do in the background. You know, you'll have some guys that are playing around in the feed. You'll have some guys that are trying to bite us in the boot, like we had one earlier. Like there's one trying to bite Whitney now. And they just like to run and be.
And they all have different personalities. That's the good thing. You won't find one pig that has the same personality.
Nope.
You got like one guy in the corner that's lazy. He hasn't moved the whole time. And then these other guys, they're just energetic and they're fun. And as they get older, they get more energetic. And as they get at their oldest age, then they start getting lazy. But they're just a lot of fun to be around, and it's a fun environment taking care of them and watching them grow up too.
If we get a chance later on, we'll wander down to the big barn and we'll show you the big boys. It's entertaining to watch those guys because they don't do anything but lay around.
So as you guys can tell, it seems like these guys really like their job and really like to renovate. Would you say is it hard work to care for pigs?
As long as you pay attention to your environment, the things going around you. But just the main thing with us being a filter barn is that the pigs depend on us to give them the correct environment to live in. So as long as you focus on your air quality, make sure they have food and water, just kind of the day in, day out, that you need food, air, and water to survive as well. I would say that no, it's not difficult. You just kind of have to pay attention to detail and kind of know what's going on with it.
Turn it so they can see the wall. Courtney's going to turn it so you can see the wall. See those big gray things that we have on the wall? Those are ventilation. On the other side of it are ventilation fans. And that's what Whitney was talking about. Is we maintain a constant velocity of air coming in and out of here. That way we can keep good, fresh air for these guys. Because, you know, if you come into a classroom at 8 o'clock in the morning and nobody's turned off fan yet, you'll have the same. And it's the same way here. You have to, when you walk in the room, the first thing you do is you feel how things are going. And you can tell right away when you walk in. The air is fresh and clean. The animals are up walking around, checking things out. You know that from a air standpoint, you're good. And it's a matter of checking food and water. Food, water, and air. That's the big three that we always look for every day.
I think something that's really important to note is that we are inside a barn, which is how most pig farmers raise animals. And so a lot of that has to do with providing that constant that they're talking about of giving them good air quality, but also protecting them from the outside. So can you guys tell us a little more about what it takes to get inside of a pig barn?
So every morning, everybody that comes into the farm, whether you're a visitor or you work here full time, you have to punch in a door code. You step in the door and you have to put on blue booties over your shoes. I can't remember. Anyways, you have to sit on a bench, take your shoes off. Basically, you swing your feet over so you just have your socks on. You go through a shower. So all of your clothes that you wore to work that morning stay on what we call the dirty side. You take a shower, you go onto the clean side, and once you step foot on the clean side carpet, you cannot go back out the door unless you shower back there. And then all of our clothes that we're wearing on, that we have on now, down to our watches and even glasses, stay inside the barn. They never leave, and they're here until we take them out. If we take something outside, we have to quarantine it back in. So quarantine has to be down for 72 hours. That's just the downtime period to kill if there is some sort of disease on it. But so every morning that we come here, it's probably 10, 15-minute process to get into the barn and get going with our day.
Biosecurity is a big, big deal when it comes to these guys because our customers rely on these guys to be as healthy as they possibly can. And if they've been battling any diseases, it's going to be detrimental. So we're always constantly trying to maintain good biosecurity.
So biosecurity is super important to pig farmers. And a part of being inside the building and having good air quality is also making sure that the temperature is right. So can the pigs get too hot and can they get too cold? And then what do you do to help either of those things?
So basically, if you walk in a barn, and these guys are really good about telling you how they feel. If you walk in and everybody's up, having a good time, they're playing around like these guys are, or even they're just kind of spaced evenly out in the pen, you know the temperature is exactly what it is. If you walk in and they're all kind of huddled up and piled on top of each other, they're probably telling you it's too cold. And then on the opposite end of that, you walk in and nobody's touching anybody and they're all spread out, you know, they're a little warmer. Your nursery pigs, the guys that are before they come in here, they're a little easier to tell if it's too hot or too cold. These guys, I wouldn't say get too hot. They'll start panting more than they will spread out. But the temperature getting too cold is a lot easier to point out in these bigger guys. And then I don't know if you can see it and we can actually walk over there and look at it. We have what we call a die-cam system. So basically we have boxes in each barn that tell you basically anything you want to know about the filtration in that specific barn. It tells you the internal maximum temperature, so the highest point that it got during the day or during the night, and then the lowest temperature that it reached the same time frame. That we clear on a 24-hour basis so that we know that when we came in at 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock what the temperature was. It'll also tell you your external temperature. It runs all your min vent fans, which is basically to bring air in or keep air from escaping, basically. That controls your inlets, which are these black things on the ceiling here. There's probably 20 or so in every room. And it's a day-to-day operation, especially this time of year. We go from open inlets to shutting inlets, and it can be in the same day. You open them in the morning, you close them back before you leave for the afternoon.
So, when you think about science and you think about raising pigs, one of the first steps is making sure that you have the right traits to grow the pigs. And so that's why all of these pigs in here are purebred. And the next step is what you feed the pigs. So what are these pigs?
So now let's hold that.
You got it?
Oh, you good?
Yep, I'll get it to you. You talk, I get it.
Okay, I'll talk. All right. What we use for feed is we use a corn, soybean, kind of a wheat mix. It's probably half corn, half soybean with some wheat nibs thrown in. The corn is for energy. The soybeans is a great source of protein. And the wheat nibs is not a filler, but it allows us to basically not have them grow too fast. All of this comes from the local farmers. We buy all of our corn from local farmers in the area. They bring it to us in their trucks. Same thing with the soybeans and the wheat. And depending on their age, we'll use a different grind. So the little guys, they get a nice fine grind. It's not like a flour, but it's pretty close. The bigger guys in the holding barn, they get a good coarse grind. I mean, you can still tell what it is, but it's ground up pretty good. Because just like you guys, if you just fed them straight corn, that's it any more than you guys can. It's actually remarkable how similar hogs are to humans in forms of feeding and things like that. It's really, really interesting.
It's really important to make sure that we watch what we're feeding them. And before we talk about the studying they're doing of that feed, does anyone have any questions?
Am I ready to just have your question? I answered my question. Any other questions?
Oh, I missed my face in there. Yeah.
So what do you what's all in the food?
What's in the food?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's in the feed that we have here? Like I said, we start off with just straight field corn. You know, it's kind of corn when you drive around outside of Lincoln, you can see corn everywhere. We start with corn, and then we mix in an equal amount of soybeans, and then we put in some, like I said, some wheat, just a little bit of wheat. And the feed mill that we have, they'll put in minerals, vitamins, and just a little bit of extra stuff for them to kind of make sure that they've got everything that they need. It's kind of like it's similar to what you guys have in the cafeteria. Probably tastes a little better. But it's similar to what you guys have.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Any other questions before we move on?
How tall are you? Oh, I want to ask. Okay.
tall the pig is?
Huh?
How large do the pigs grow?
How large do they get? Okay. It all depends. What the guys that we have here, the boys that we have here, they will max out depending on where we're going to send them. If we hang on to them for a little while and we send them to one of our houses, our gene centers, we call them, they'll push. Yeah, that was a good dab. I like that. Nice. They'll push 350 to 400 pounds. Now, I worked at a farrowing house where we had big sows, and Whitney worked at a gene center where they had big boars. I've seen sows at the farrowing house that'll push 600. We had one girl that was 700 pounds. She was huge. And I know Whitney's dealt with some big boys, probably in the same ballpark. So hogs, depending on how old they get and how much you feed them, hogs can get 600, 700 pounds easily. But they are massive animals at that point. Most of the guys here will never see 350, at least not here. When they get to a customer, they probably do.
Here they range probably top out about 400. We don't have too many of those.
Do the pigs ever be violent? Like, do they ever get violent?
Actually, they can. They can. If they've been having fun chewing on Courtney's boot for the last half an hour, and they're doing the same thing to Whitney. They're not being violent, they're being curious. But I will tell you that when we first put groups of them together, just like, like anything, you get a group of kids together for the first time, you're going to have to sort out the pecking order. Who the big boss is. Pigs do the same thing, except when they do it a little differently. They will actually fight. And sometimes, they'll get scratched up pretty good, and we have to kind of babysit them a little bit. Sometimes they'll get scratched up and bad enough that we'll actually have to treat them. And we'll give them some medication. We'll give them two different types of medication. One's an antibiotic, and the other is more of it's actually called dexamethasone. It's like a steroid, something that your doctor would give you to kind of anti-inflammatory. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's an anti-inflammatory. But yeah, they can get. If they get violent with any of us, we usually don't have them hang around very long. Good question.
Any other questions? What is life?
You kill the piggies! You kill the piggies! No, do not bring that over here. You kill the piggies.
Somebody's camera shot.
Can I ask if they kill the piggies?
They don't.
Yo!
They send this on.
They send this to a butcher. Oh, do they?
Yeah.
That's not
Hello again.
You guys kill the piggies?
Do we what? Sell them, or what did you say?
Do you guys kill the pigs?
Okay. If we have to, and the reason I say that, actually, let me back up. We do not kill them. We only do it if we absolutely positively have no other choice. If he's sick and we can't get him out on a load to send to a customer. We have customers that we will sell hogs that are not going to do anything else. They're basically going to go for slaughter. If I can't get him on the truck without stressing him out or making him feel worse, we will humanely put him down. I don't like doing it, but it's part of the job. I really, really don't like doing it. I've spent way too much time with these guys to just go around doing that. I won't do it if I don't have to.
Our main objective with these guys is to do what's best for them. So if they require treatment, we'll treat them as long as that's what they need. If they need treatment, we'll do it as long as they can survive. But if they get to a point where it's like, okay, he is absolutely suffering, then yes, we will do the humane thing and do what's best for the pig. But our main objective is to take these guys from when they get here in the nursery, to take them all the way to the future, to a customer for them to be either breeding, whatever they do.
Can you guys talk about like what you're going to use for versus like what some of the coupons are used for?
Yeah. So these guys that we do here, we're trying to consider what we call a nucleus farm. So all the boards that come here are available to sell. Either do external, which means they'll go to another DNA, or be put back into the breeding program, or we ship some internationally. We go to Spain, Mexico, Canada, places like that, and they actually use them for breeding. And the same thing with just your general customers. We go everywhere in the United States. South Carolina, we used to have a farm in Oklahoma. So we do all of that. And the main thing for these guys at our farm in particular, everybody here is used for breeding.
What she's saying is everyone here is going to be a dad, and they're studying them so that they can make better baby pigs that will be used for like pork chops and chicken and ham and all of those things. So there's a difference in the different barns where pig farmers raise them. This one's just a special barn where they're studying them and raising them to be those dad pigs. The main goal is that these guys become dads and their offsprings are better pigs. So you have genetic gain after each litter from the guys who come here. So this guy's first litter, we want his pigs to be better than he was. Out of time, what we're going to do is if you have a chance, can we move?
Yep.
Sure.
All right.
Let's go walking. If we can get out of the pen.
Opposite. Your face.
We're going free range. Look out.
You carrying?
I'll carry if I can get him out of my way. Okay. I'll try to walk backwards without running into him.
May I open the door so there you
We actually have, just in our Kingster unit, we have 8 different barns where we test animals, and then when we're done, we have what's called a post barn. Both guys use to keep our customers go to our breeding program. It's the weekend. Hang on a second.
Tell them. Oh. You can tell them.
Sam, if you can hear me chit-chatting, it sounds like you might have lost our connection. Hopefully, we'll get back here shortly. Okay.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay, good.
We can hear you.
Sounded like a Verizon commercial there for a second. All right. So as we go through, we've got each room takes us about 2 weeks of nursery babies to fill each room. So there's about 375 to 400 animals in each individual room. As we go, you can kind of see behind me that they're getting progressively larger. Some of these guys in the room that we're in at the moment are pushing 150 on average. Some of the big boys in here will go probably 190. But the nice thing about this is a lot of these guys, we could go through, find their ear tag. Each ear tag is his individual number. Like you have an individual name. Nobody can take that name away from you. These guys have an individual number. I can go back, take that number, and I can look and see who their mom was, who their dad was, who their grandparents were, great-grandparents, I can go back about 5 different generations and see how those guys did when they were here as far as the boars. I can go through and see how they ate, how they grew, all kinds of things like this. These fellas in here are probably on average about, I'd say 190 to 230. These guys have about another 4 to 5 weeks all in our testing program, so they're about halfway done. Okay. You'll probably notice the sound has picked up a little bit because our fans in here, the older these guys are, the more heat they put off, the more our fans have to run to ventilate that heat and bring in fresh air. On days when it's like 75, 80, 85 degrees outside, it sounds like it's pretty loud in here. These guys, of course, these guys are the big guys. Gone through the testing program. They have passed the test. They've got good enough scores that we have decided to keep them for our breeding program and for our customers. You can tell that the bigger they get, the lazier they get. He's got a little bit of a gimp to him. He kind of got up a little slow. Tomorrow when we come through, we'll treat him. We want to make sure that we save these guys. These fellas, here comes the big fella. Yeah, this guy probably tips the scales 350 to about 4. Yeah, I'd say he's close to about 4 bills. But that's what we do here. We test these guys, and the whole, you could pick just about any farm in the country, and they all have hogs at them, hogs like this. But what we do here is the testing procedure, which is different from almost anybody else. Almost. There's some companies out there that do the testing procedure, but not as thoroughly as we do. We really go hardcore into it. Because these guys, when they go from here, we'll send them to our Pillin Family Farms is our sister company. We make the quality hogs. They make the quantity hogs. Pillin Family Farms, they have a lot of these guys making lots of babies. When you guys go down to McDonald's or you go down to Burger King and you get yourself a breakfast sandwich that has some sausage or bacon on it, there's about a 35% chance that came from one of my guys. There's about a 1 in 3 chance that what you're having for breakfast came from these guys' offspring. What the work that we do here is really, really important, so we really pay attention to it.
All right. Does anyone have any final questions?
Somebody asked, how long do the pigs live?
A full lifespan on a hog. That's a good point. I don't know. The sows that we had at Vineyard would only live. They would, by the time they got to the age of 3 to 3.5, we would what we call them, and we would send them down the road. The boars, the gene centers where the boars are at, they're about 4 years. They could probably live longer than that, but you're talking big boys. I mean, they're going to be huge. By the time they get to 4 years of age, they're already 600 pounds. I mean, they'd be huge.
You can tell kind of from their quality of life, like how it changes the older they get because of the bigger they get. I think that's part of why.
Yeah, it can.
3, 4.
Well, the bigger they get, the harder it is just on everything for them.
Well, their size gets bigger, but on the genetic side of the program, like I said, you want these guys' offspring to be better than he is, but you let them stick around too long, you're not going to gain any genetic influence. So you have to kind of, your overturn and your herd has to be 1 or 2 years. You're getting new animals cycle through just so you can continue.
You consistently want to improve the next generation.
That was a really good question. Thank you guys so much. We have reached our maximum time for the call. I don't want to take away from the rest of your day either. If you have any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email and I can even being like a truck driver, lots and lots of different opportunities to be involved. So thank you guys so much for joining us on our virtual field trip to Pig Farm today.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.